and in today's video we're going to be tossing aside the cards for today and we're going to be discussing thumb tips, specifically two things. The first one is was suggested by a viewer, which is the lit cigarette vanish and how to do that, 3 methods. So with that said, and I'm so excited for today, let's roll that intro. So to start, let's start with a quick overview of the lit cigarette through shirt. Now, mind you, the context is a little bit different because I do not smoke, nor do I encourage it in any way, and especially since there's a ranging of viewers. But let's just simulate something like that using a dollar bill, which we shall do by rolling this guy on up to simulate. Wow, my tongue is tied today. The idea of a cigarette. So give me 1 second. So real quick, they would be holding onto their lit cigarette or smoking it, whatever, casually. That's them. Again, I do not encourage it, but they would be doing that. You would start the prep by examining their shirt. You're like, okay, I think we can do this. Okay. Here, may I borrow your cigarette? And they go, yes. Okay. This is a weird simulation, but I'm going to make it work. You would push it into their shirt. They can see it visually one last time, and you're trying to be as fair as you possibly can. Push it inside, and then watch as it just goes right on through. And I swear, when I saw Paganini do this, back in Italy, Italian magician, the reaction was literally, "What are you, God?" And that was their words from the audience, not mine. And it was a great effect, and it has a whole story which I'll tell another time. That was one of my favorite magical experiences. I'll get to another time. But keeping to the thumb tip, it is a very, very simple effect, and actually works better with an actual cigarette because it can compress much easier than a dollar bill. But we're improvising. You get the general idea of what it is. Okay, so in section A, we're going to cover the lit cigarette and 3 methods. Section B, we're going to cover the thumb tip holsters and the general ideas of how you can make your own. Because this, I just cannot stop stressing that this frees you by having these thumb tip holsters at your disposal. You can now perform an entire thumb tip magic act basically barehanded. And it is just so amazing and so important that I just really want to get it out there. Even though I did video on it previously, I just love highlighting. So, getting to section A. Again, I do not smoke, so I do not have a lit cigarette, but we're simulating with the dollar. For those who don't smoke, again, I'll say relentlessly, do not condone it. I say this because I do not want to get this video demonetized, or like, it has to be 18 or over, because that would be bad. And I really want to popularize this effect for people who do not smoke, but for those who like see people doing it and they want to teach people a lesson to not smoke or different things, you can do this effect, and it's just a great, great effect. So there are the 3 methods, and first let's go into different types of thumb tips. Okay, as you would expect, there's also a metal one, and we'll get into that in a second. So first there is, and all these types can work. They all can work with respect to context. There's a small classic Vernet one. There is like I don't know where I found this one from. I don't know if it's a Royal Magic version, but it's a king size, but it's very hard. It's sturdy. Okay. The next one is a Vernet king size soft. This is my personal favorite size. I know it's not for everyone because of the sizing. It might be too big or whatever. But for those with bigger thumbs or hands or whatever, this is the holy grail in my opinion, because you could just shove so much in here, get away with so much, have bigger, more elaborate effects, and just, I love it to death. And it's the one I use for the loose performance of it. And then finally is the metal version. Now, specifically going to the metal version, it is basically like a tube that's been closed off. And hopefully you can actually see. Let me see if I can get closer so people can see inside. So it's just basically a tube, metal tube. And I put a thumb tip on it because the paint will keep on falling off through performances. It's just a tube that's silver, or I don't know what the material's made out of realistically. It's not silver, but it's just a tube, maybe zirconium or zinc, I don't know. And then it's just painted over with flesh paint colored paint or whatever. But again, it falls off, as they all say, and then they say, well, you don't even need to expose it and all those things. Well, I like to be able to be more free, okay? I like freedom, so I like to be able to have something that's color my skin. So I just opted, knowing that it just kept on falling apart and everything, I just put a thumb tip over it, and it's stuck on there now. I can't even get it off unless I literally cut this thumb tip off. But I don't need to, and realistically, I just like to have this extra gesture right here. It looks so natural. You can't even tell until you expose it. So that's great. And so for the commenter who suggested this is for you, buddy. Also, if anyone has any other suggestions before I move into phase 2 of my channel, where I don't do any more tutorials, really, if you have any other suggestions, feel free to drop in the comments down below, because I want to help as many people as I can. I want to give my knowledge, because I have basically done the whole gambit, and this whole thing is just here for everyone here. This is my, not trying to be egotistical anyway, but since I didn't make any money off this program, nothing, it really is just truly my gift to the world to be able to help people who are interested in magic get into magic. That said, these are different types. Some people would just instantly opt for one of the methods. You can just use a metal thumb tip, and if you liked my ideas on the just shoving a regular thumb tip over it, you can do that. And it fits quite comfortably. It's easy to get on and off. It feels great, at least for my style and things. It might be oversized, so you might have to custom it. Who knows? Find someone who knows metal and can do it, and then just shove a thumb tip on it, and you're good. But again, you can't be as open with displays. You can't do this kind of display without, it's risky. So, be aware of that. That being said, the first method is you have a lit cigarette, and then we'll go into the the mechanics of the general trick, and then 3 methods to clean up. That's the general idea. So we have a shirt right here. There's a lit cigarette the spectator has. You would first examine the shirt, and you would want to keep this hand covered. You won't want them flashing that there's a discrepancy in skin color, and they'll say thumb tip, and you don't want that. So you would have your hands inwards, your thumbs inwards, and you just casually check the spectator. You would do a couple of other tricks beforehand and building up to this one. This is a short quickie, as Paganini used it when I saw him in Italy. This was a closer for him. Believe it or not, it's a quick closer, and man, it's powerful. So we would examine the shirt. You would want a more firm shirt. It was a little bit more difficult in performance because I have a very soft shirt. It's hard. You want a more firm, flat shirt. That being said, you examine it, okay, and then you would insert the thumb tip inside the shirt. So as you examine it, you're like, cool, I think we can use this, and then you just shove the thumb tip inside the shirt, and you would tilt it so there's cover. But essentially, let me see if I can get closer to this, see if you'll see it. Lighting's crazy, but generally I just go. See, but now you see how it got caught. That's why I wouldn't want to use these kind of shirts to do this. But generally, just thumb tip. And it's great that you get to see this from the worst perspective of the using the worst shirt, because then we get to know in the best situations. So, examine it, and say, okay, we'll use this. Okay, drop the thumb tip inside, leave it, and then you can tilt it towards you need it be. And you could even adjust. You could even adjust the shirt for a second, because you wouldn't want the shirt to go inside the thumb tip. If the shirt goes inside the thumb tip, when you're trying to get it out, you got caught in the shirt and then you're stuck. So you want to make sure everything's outside, so you tilt it and you got it easy in. Well, let me see from here. I'll actually change angles over here. I'm trying my best here. But you want to make sure, let's see, right here. You want to make sure you just have it easy in, easy out. So when you get the thumb tip, you go right out, in, out. If you don't, if you have it mussed in there, when you go, so like this situation, when you go in to get it, oh, I actually got that time. But if the shirt's a little bit inside, so I'm going to actually shove the shirt inside personally. It gets caught, I'm like this, and it comes off. doesn't look good. Okay? So, that out of the way, we examine the shirt, shove thumb tip inside, tilt it so they can't see it. Okay? Get the lit cigarette. I'm going to try something cool. And tilt it away from their view so they cannot see it. Work with your angles however you can. Just don't make sure no one can see it or flashes. And you work. So if there's less people over here, you don't see people over here, tilt it this way. And then people say, okay, he's got the shirt, he's getting the cigarette, what's he going to do? And it's barehanded. And usually, because it's a hot day and you're doing a street magic performance, usually where I see this being done, or just outside, then you got this. So get the dollar bill or cigarette in this case, shove it inside the metal, assuming a metal thumb tip. This is method 1, okay? Method 1, metal thumb tip with a cover on it. Shove it inside as you push with your thumb, okay? Push, you act like you're gripping on it, and you've stolen it out right here, okay? Again, the cigarette's much better than this because it can push inside of itself. Now, because you're cutting off the air supply that's needed to keep the cigarette going, and you crushed it, and it's just in this position, it'll go out, and you want to worry about burning anything because the metal's made to handle that. You go out, you're clean, and then you just give it a rub, and then let the shirt drop, and then it goes through it. So it's vanished. It's not only vanished, it went through the shirt, seemingly, and no burn, nothing. And since there's all this effect all at once, people are overwhelmed and say that comment. I would never say something like that, as I am don't want to die by the higher forces. That be. So that is the general idea if you're just doing with a metal thumb tip. Again, this is as old, as magicians would say, as old as dirt. Has been around for a long time, longer than Gary Darwin. Can't really say where the first publication is, but that is a general method. And technically it's my own idea, or my own handling on it, because I added the thumb tip cover on it, and that is original. Yay! Original enough! So that's method 1. Method 2 and 3 get a little bit more intricate. Now, in method 2, what you're going to need, if I may pause, in method 2, it's the more traditional method that you see magicians use. Again, still as old as dirt. I will credit Gary Darwin for some ideas on this. He had done this, so for him popularizing it, I give credit to Gary Darwin and a bunch of other people on that. But the general idea is you have a piece of cloth or whatever, and it is wetted or just a little bit moist. Okay, so a little piece of like tissue paper or paper towel, and just a small little ball. You can see it right here. Okay, and what we do with it is we just wet it, put it inside a thumb tip. Okay, and this allows you to have a normal thumb tip being used. So you can use a smaller one, regular size, king size, whatever you feel like. Just have the wet one, the little wet thing inside. Make sure it's inside. And this prevents the extended damage of a thumb tip. Because you could do this technically without... you can do this technically without the thing, but then you destroy the thumb tip in the process. So that's no bueno. And we want to try and make sure. And we want the cloth to be big enough so it surrounds the whole bottom side. So if we are not aiming and we just shove it inside, we want to be able to hit and put out the cigarette so we don't have to worry about it. Or the cig. The cig, rather. And then just be able to put it out and not have to worry about it and not have to destroy a thumb tip every time. So we get the small piece of cloth, we wet it, we put it aside, and we wait for the opportune moment. And depending however you place it, so it's in a safe place. Again, and I'll get to this later, but I use a thumb tip holster so I can safely, and it's on the side of my jacket pocket hidden away, I can just go in, get it, and it's straight up, get it, I know where it's at, get it, and then I can do the effect really fast anytime, and I'm set up for that. And I got the cloth inside, which is great. And make sure it's wet. So get it there. Then we go into the whole effect. We do the same thing. You know. Okay, here you go. Okay. Have it tilted. Oop. Again, you do not want to use a soft shirt like this. This is absolutely the worst shirt you want to use. You might as well use a different spectator. You could actually use a different spectator shirt. But I'm just showing you the worst case and how to deal with it. So under every context, you'll be fine. Okay? Firm shirts, better. You can feel the cloth of a spectator's shirt. Say, I want to try something. I need the right shirt. And then, you know, you want a soft shirt. And again, not this stretchy, soft one. You don't want that. We get the bill, okay? We could even clip it right here for a second if you want to display it. So you get the spinal display. And then as we shove it in, we can self-correct. And this is a little tip from doing this. Again, I'm just telling you all the sources, different sources of how they would have done it and simulate it. I don't do this effect often enough, though I have done it a couple times. And let me tell you, great reactions, even from magicians. They're like, really? Did you do that? That's so cool! Which is lovely. So we get it, thumb goes in, shoves it inside, okay, it touches the cloth, you've stolen it out, okay, and then the simulation is still right here, you rub it, goes away. Again, 3 things are happening for them. The fact that it went through the shirt is not damaged in any way, and the sig vanishing makes it amazing. Look at that. Whoa, oh my gosh, crazy. And then you don't have to worry so much about the thumb tip getting destroyed. You could use the thumb tip again. It didn't burn a hole through it or something like that. Again, the SIGs are very... they hurt, okay? So you don't want to get burned. Again, I am not, and I should mention this openly, I am not liable for any of this trick or any content on this video. I just put it out for educational purposes. You do it at your own risk, okay? I don't... especially I'm not making any money on this channel. They're like, I'm going to sue you. Why? Again, not liable for anything. That said, I have paranoia. Don't you love that? Anyways, so we've discussed method 2 of using a wet cloth. So method 1, we use a metal thumb tip. We're in, we're out, we're done. Use a metal holster. You're just so easy. Great. Okay, you could probably buy these on Penguin. I don't know where you would find them. Maybe Amazon or something. Metal thumb tips. They're kind of rare nowadays. So maybe Penguin has it. I don't know. Just give it a good search on Google and you'll find something. Number 2 is using a wet cloth and using any thumb tip to your preference and shoving inside and then doing the routine. Routine number 3 is technically my own method. I've heard of other... I mentioned other people and like, oh yeah, I would do that, you know, whatever. But no one's ever published it before. I've never seen it published before, and I own dang near every single thumb tip book on the planet, so no one can say otherwise. And the third method is kind of grotesque, but it's at the opportune moment if you really need to do the effect. And that is, before you begin the effect, you act like you're rubbing your mouth, like this, and you have the thumb tip right here, so you get it off, get into like a thumb palm position. Yeah, act like you're rubbing, and you just casual talk with spectators, and you literally, like, just, no, don't make a big, or just casually drip spit. And I know it's disgusting, okay? I'm aware it's disgusting, but if you're in a pinch, and you're not set up, but you really want to do this effect really badly, that's the context. And I've been in that context more than once. I've actually done this effect. Ever since I've seen Paganini do it, I've actually been doing this, actually, couple times, but I hate admitting that I usually do method number 3 because I didn't have the thumb tip holster at the time, but now that I do, I would just use a metal thumb tip with thumb tip holster. But for method number 3, literally just casually drip, or I would say spit, but you don't want to make it obvious, so just drip some spit you've collected into the thumb tip and have it ready for the effect. Ew, that's disgusting. Well, sometimes magic's disgusting, but no one has to know. Only you. And then you can wash your hands off after, okay? Okay. Germaphobes aside. Get it, spit inside it, have the thumb tip down so you don't have to worry about the residue so much if you're really that paranoid. But realistically, it's just going to be right here, so you can even tilt it like this so you don't have to worry. Just don't make a big deal about it. Just have enough spit so you can put out the cigarette, okay? We do the same routine, set up, okay, we do the same thing, ultimately, put it inside, it goes out because of the spit, you don't have to worry about the thumb tip getting destroyed, trust me, I've done this, palm it out, okay, it's put out. It's disgusting. You got a whole bunch of weird stuff inside this thumb tip touching your thumb. I know it's disgusting, but spectators don't know it. They'll never know it unless you literally flash, and then the effect's done, and then you're good. Okay? And then they're like, wow, that's great. And then you can take your, if you have sanitizer, happen to have sanitizer, great. You can drop it off and then just casually clean off, or just say, oh, you know what? And imagine it's not in a professional show setting. Again, you wouldn't want to do this in a professional show setting unless you're really crazy enough and it's just like a casual show thing. Again, it's like an encore closer, okay? You would want to close on this because for the method number 3. For the context method number 3. Method 1, 2, you're fine. Method 3, you just, it's basically limited to the context of a one-off. You one-off it, and then you clean up, okay? And then you can just go to the bathroom. Can I use the bathroom? Oh, yeah, sure. I'll be back in just a minute. And then you go off, clean off your thumb, get off all the cigarette butts so you don't have to worry about that, and then you're all good. And then clean out your thumb tip, of course. So that is 3 methods of being able to do a lit cigarette vanish using basically any thumb tip in any context. And this is, again, why I was really interested in doing this kind of tutorial is because I was really inspired by Paganini in Italy. When I went to go visit Italy, I saw him, I chased and hunted him down, and we did a magic off, and it was just, I'll tell it in another story another time. But here you go, you got the 3 methods to be able to do this effect whenever. Practice a mirror, again, have a firm shirt, and you'll be able to do miracles with this. It's a miracle class effect. Now, so with that said, I might as well offer a question. Here's the question for the day. What is your favorite thumb tip effect, in your opinion? Write in the comments down below. And if you haven't checked out this video yet, definitely check them out. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day, and see you in the next video.